Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm MrTieDye, and today we're going to explore a design that I've done a discharge of the black diamond rainbow tee. But I've had several people ask about doing it on just a plain white tee, so I decided to go ahead and do another video for this. So what I have is a tee that's been pre-washed. It's been... Well, this one I haven't soaked it in soda ash, but at this point you could have it already soaked in soda ash, folded up, and dye it. But what I'm going to do, I've been just playing with the process of adding the soda ash at the end. So anyways, so this is a clean shirt. It's been pre-washed and it's just barely damp. I just got it out of the washer. And the first thing is to draw your lines on here. So I started to draw them on, but I thought I'd better show you guys just exactly what I was doing. My goal is to fold my lines up. I'm going to go from the bottom up to this corner, up to this line, up to that shoulder. And what that does is put this V shape right here on the neck line. If you want to do it the opposite direction and have your diamond end up there and come down this way, you can do it whichever direction you want to do it. But since I am ending over here, that's where I'm going to measure from. I need 3 points on my shirt. Actually, well, 4 because I'm going to start down here. But 3 points, basically I'm drawing 3 lines. And so I'm just going to divide it in thirds. So basically what I do is just a quick measurement. I'm not doing exacting, but this here is about 29.5 inches. I'm working on an extra large tee, so each tee size is going to change the length. So I'm measuring from the top shoulder down to the bottom hem here, like I say, 29.5 inches. I'm rounding up to 30. And then basically what I'm doing is I'm putting my lines at about 10 inches. So I got 10 inches here, and I got 20 inches here, and then of course the shoulder is my ending point. Sorry, some of this marking things out can sound confusing, but if you want to be kind of precise with your lines, then that's the way you're going to do it. Otherwise, you can just draw your lines on however you like them. But I like it kind of even sometimes. So now I'm just going to go from this here is the middle of the front of the tee. Like I say, I folded this, I centered the tee, so I have the front and the back separate by tucking one sleeve into the other. I will put a video link to that down in the description box for centering a tee. So from the center of the tee, that's where I'm going to draw my first line from. The middle bottom up to this first line that I marked at 10 inches. And then up to the next one that I've marked at 20 inches. And then I'm going to finish out my line up here to the shoulder. So this is another, actually this would be 9.5 inches because it was 29.5 inches up there. So like I say, if you are going to end your line here at the neckline, then what I would do is measure the distance from the bottom up to the neckline. So this here is actually on this shirt 27 inches. So I would divide and I would do my lines every 9 inches. So I would draw from the back corner up to the front over here and then over to here. So you can do it either way you want. The point is, wherever you're doing it, wherever you're ending is where I measure. So I measured up here at the shoulder seam. The next thing is doing the folding. So, and what I like to do when I'm doing my folding is when I do this pleated fold, I would like to end my run so that the end of it is on the downward side rather than the upward side, and that just makes folding the other side into that a little bit easier. So sometimes I will adjust my pleats as I'm going across here. And I'm basically just lining these pleats up on top, trying to keep them about the same height here. Okay, and this last one I'm going to make it just a little bit taller of a pleat, but basically that puts the ending down on the downward side there. And then what I'm going to do is take this other side, flip it up and around, and line it up. So I'm putting this line on that line there. And once you line that up, I kind of pinch that, move my fabric around, and lay that down this as evenly as I can right there. And it puts just a little bit of a U shape here in the t-shirt fold, and that's what you want to see. And then from there I'm going to fold another pleat up, and then this is where I'm running with these pleats that are going out, and they're just going to have to circle back around here. So you want to just kind of adjust your pleating as you're going to just keep laying those down nice and flat there. So I can see my next pleat here, and I'm just going to kind of pinch that and make that fall in there and just tuck it down right in there. So you just kind of keep working those pleats. All of these ones are going to just lay right down along here. So it's pleated this way, up and around. And sometimes it just helps to get in there and just work those pleats and get them laying down. And like I say, you're just going to keep ending up with these little U-turns that are going to get just a little bit bigger and bigger as you go here. Okay, once you get out to the edge here where your pleats are no longer going, then you're just going to do just a straight pleat across there. And like I say, I'm focusing mostly on this center part. This outer edges here, I'm going to kind of adjust those as I go. But the main thing that you want to keep track of is your pleats that are right here in this main section, to get those lined up, and then you can slowly sort them out over here, because these ones here you don't need to work on them too much, because once you get up to this corner, then these pleats are all going to fold back around here. So that's why I'm not taking a whole lot of time to work with these pleats out here, because I'm going to readjust them as I pleat around this next corner. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to adjust, so probably 2 more pleats in there is going to put that right at the bottom. And that's just how I like it. This line goes down there, and then like I say, I'm going to take this line, fold it up around, and lay it right there on that line. And it's just a matter of folding the fabric around to match that line up. And once you do, then I just kind of pinch that there to hold it. You can also lean up against the table and push this up against your chest. I've seen people lay a board down so that they have just a little extra workspace there. So just whatever you need to hold things in place. The other thing that I use sometimes, although mostly I use them on dry tees, are these binder clips. So, yeah. Those are something that when you're working with the dry, the pleats don't always want to stay in there, so I sometimes will clip with a binder clip, and you can usually clip a couple of them together, and that will hold them in place. But when they're damp, they usually will stay in place by themselves. And like I say, you can see now that all these pleats that were going off this direction, I'm going to slowly start wrapping them around this corner here, with that one being the first one. And you just keep working. You're just going to work your way all the way across the tee. Sometimes having a tool, whether it's a cuticle pusher or chopstick or just a little screwdriver with you don't want anything with an edge that you might tear the t-shirt with, but sometimes that will help you when you're playing with these pleats here to get them lined up just how you want them. Because this is, once again, the more that you work with your design in the folding stages, then the better it's going to come out when you dye it. And these pleats going around these corners here is kind of a integral part of this particular design. So we get that nice zigzag pattern going back and forth. Now at this point, like I say, these pleats still aren't perfectly lined up, but I want to get the tying part done first, at least part of it, just to hold things in place. And I like to use kite string for mine. I will put a video link to the kite string and send you a video of how I work with both of those down in the description box. But the kite string is what replaced rubber bands for me. I mean, you can still use rubber bands for this just by sliding those under and holding things in place there, but I'm going to bind mine with kite string. So I'm going to start out by going right down that middle line, and I wrap it around just a couple times, pull it semi-tight. You don't want to pull so tight that you buckle things up, but you do want it tight enough that you can pick up the t-shirt and move it around. So I'll kind of pinch with my fingers right here, just kind of squeezing this together, and then I can kind of tighten up with my kite string. So that's just a little bit taut right there. And now, since these pleats here are mostly done, I'm going to tie this side first, and then I'm going to go back and adjust this. But most of these pleats, I've already done all of the adjusting process. So they're kind of laying down in there nice and neat. You can see all of the little V shapes or U shapes in there. And that's what you want to see. And I'm not tying this up tight like I would with sinew. You're not cinching it. You're just kind of compacting it a little bit. Just enough so that when you pick this up, it's not going to fall apart on you. And of course, as you get down here on the edge, there's less fabric in here, so it is going to kind of come down to more of a point on the edge compared to this middle part. So at that point, I just kind of work with all my pleats, get everything lined up the way I want. Sometimes, if possible, I'll tuck that tag down in there just to get it out of my way. Sometimes when you're dyeing a t-shirt and you run across a tag, it will splash. So if I can tuck it down in there out of my way, I'll do that. But sometimes it's handy to have that tag out if you have a whole stack of t-shirts and you need to remember which one is the extra large so you can put the right colors on it. So there's different ways of going about it, but whenever possible, I tuck that tag in. Okay, so now let's just wrap back up to the center here. Once I get to the center, now I'm going to take the time here and adjust these pleats. And really, it's just about trying to get them as even as possible. I want to make sure that I don't have pleats that are laying over top where it's going to create an umbrella and possibly leave a white space under there. So just work with all your pleats, get them all lined up nice and neat. And sometimes you can just, in these V-shaped ones, you can just kind of stick your finger down in there or the cuticle pusher and just kind of pull your edge and adjust it to the height that you need it or want it. And once you have that down, then you can slowly start compacting the rest of the pleats on top of there. And then you just continue with your kite string going down the other direction of t-shirt. And once again, as you get away from the center spot, you have less fabric, so it's going to go down to more of a point there. And I just try to make sure that I don't lose any of my pleats as I'm compacting this. have the rainbow diamond design on just a white tee, and we'll get back to dyeing this soon here. But like I say, it's tied tight enough that you can pick it up, move it around. When you look closely down in there, you can see these little U-turns. Those are all the places where when I went around that corner that the pleats folded back around on themselves. So in this one here, you can see the little lines going in there. Anyways, that's what you want. And we're going to come back in about 2 seconds. I'll get some gloves on and we'll put some dye on this. So stay tuned. Okay, we're back to dye the rainbow diamond. And it's sat for a few days in my tub. And I think I got some different color transfer from the various washable markers and stuff. So that's what you see on here. Plus my lines have faded. So what I'm going to do is just draw in that first line that we actually folded. This is the one that we drew and pleated, and you can dye this in a couple of ways. If you want to kind of control what color that center one, the one that is basically the outline of the design, you want to make sure that you remark that, and then you can make sure to color that in the color scheme that you like. The other thing, you can just start at one end and just go to the other and just do it randomly. I like to do these in rainbow colors, but I have done them, if I can talk, I have done them in other colors. So I did one in jewel tones where I did a bright blue, the deep purple, and a deep green, the emerald green. So I did just a 3-color and just rotated them every other one. On the bottom side, we are doing DNA style, so on the bottom side you shift your colors just one space. But I'm going to make sure to put a bright color there in the middle, and then I'm just going to go out both directions from there. So we're just going to go for it. You could also mark your lines out if you want to kind of have a general guideline. You could pick how wide. I usually will use my finger if I want to do a skinny line, or if I want to do a fatter line, you can use 2 fingers. Draw you some lines in there to guide where you're going to color, but you can also just go for it, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to start out by putting bright green on that center spot. So that's the double line that's going to come from the shoulders down here to the chest and down back out. So that'll be a nice bright green color. And then we're going to go out yellow in one direction, because I'm just going to go with following the rainbow. And then the other direction, of course, I would go turquoise or blue. Whatever blue you use. I just happen to be using fuchsia, deep orange, lemon yellow, bright green, turquoise, and a watered down deep purple. Those are the colors that I'm using today in my rainbow. But you can use whatever rainbow colors you like, or you can, like I say, go with other colors. The main thing is just to alter them back and forth to give you the patterning. Now, for doing the DNA, we're going to shift all of our colors one space. So I put green over the center space before, and I want to have yellow there next, just so I have 2 nice bright colors. So the yellow is on this side of the line, so that means I want to shift all of my colors this direction. So since I finished with yellow up at this top end, if I had one more space here, it would have been colored with the orange. So now instead of putting the orange here, I'm going to shift it one space. So I'm going to start with orange up here at the collar, or at the top there. And then in this green space, then we're going to go with yellow. So all of the colors, that's what the DNA pattern is, or design. All of the colors get shifted, and it doesn't matter if they're shifted one direction or the other direction, just so long as you do it the same way. And that's easiest if you line your bottles up. So I have my bottles, if I can get them into the screen here. I have them in an order, and that way I can just pick them up. So I know that since I started with orange here and I'm working this direction, then I've just lined my bottles up so I can just keep picking up the next color. And I can see the color underneath, so I saw that there was turquoise on the back side, so that meant this one was in green. And I'm going to touch up this white space with more yellow. Okay, so the next color is turquoise, and we're just going to work our way down the shirt. And there is the rainbow diamond design done on just a white tee instead of a black tee to start with. So I'm going to let this batch for 48 hours. I'm going to put it in my tub here. I put the lid on to make sure it stays wet. And then I usually, in the summertime, I will stack them out in the sun so that they get some heat. And then I'll be back in 48 hours to do a washout, open this all up, and do the reveal. So thank you for watching. Please like and share my videos wherever they're possible. And I will see you again in the next video. Peace. Hello and welcome to Hippie Christmas with Mr. Tie-Dye. So today we're going to open up a rainbow diamond design. This is the design. Okay, there's the back of the tee and the front. Alrighty, we got some beautiful colors in there. So I will get this washed up and you'll see the rest of the results in about 2 seconds. Peace.